started. Welcome. It's Monday, May 19th, 2025, 3:30, the Carson City Community Center, Robert Bob Kroll Boardroom. We're at the Carson City Culture and Tourism Authority Board of Directors meeting. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mike Jones,
Here.
Andrew Reno,
Here.
Giomi.
I'm here.
We have a quorum. Oh,
Thank you.
oh, I'm so sorry. Damon.
Ask everyone to
Bach?
stand. I'm sorry.
Damon Both.
Come on, can you hear us? Damon?
Yes, here.
Okay. All right. Ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll move on to item 4 on the agenda, public comment.
Thank you, Chair. Denny French, Carson City, Nevada. First off, I'd just like to say thank you all for being here and looking over the agenda. You've all done a lot of reports, and I'm looking forward to hearing each. But I wanted to also say I saw this crowd of cars out there, and I'm going, now you finally have the group of people I think should be here every time. So anyhow, I hunted down where they were, and they were not. Anyhow, thank you.
Thank you. Next, item 5, for possible action and approval of the minutes from the April 14th, 2025 CTA board meeting. Did the board have any changes or recommendations? If not, I'll move to approve the minutes of the April 14th meeting as presented. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. That moves us on to the consent agenda. Would any member of the board like any item pulled for individual discussion for the consent agenda? Can I get a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent.
Stacy?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I will second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. That moves us on to item 9, discussion and possible action regarding the Carson City Culture and Tourism Authority CTA final budget for the fiscal year 2026. I don't think there's been any changes, Chris, but I'll turn it over to you for now.
Chris Kipp, Operations and Finance Manager. So the final budget that you guys have is exactly the same as the tentative budget you approved at the last meeting. Only difference is we have changed the column number 4 to match the tentative. So we have a final approved column on pages 7, 8, and 9, and 10. And then we have the approval letter of our tentative budget from taxation. So if you guys don't have any changes, I've left everything the way it is, and this will be our final budget for fiscal 26. So if you have questions.
Okay. Well, I'll now open the public hearing to consider the approval of the fiscal year 25-26 final budget report for the Carson City Culture and Tourism Authority. I will first allow questions from members of the CTA staff. I will then entertain questions and public input, followed by questions from the CTA board. I will then close the hearing before we move on to the next agenda item, which is to take action and approve the fiscal year 25-26 budget. With that, are there any questions from the CTA staff?
David Peterson, Executive Director of Visit Carson City. No, Chair. There are no questions from staff.
Are there any questions or input from the public? Hearing no public input, I will now close the hearing and open it up to the board to discuss the fiscal year 25-26 final budget. Any questions from the board? If not, hearing none, I'll go for a motion to approve the fiscal year 25-26 CTA budget as presented.
I will make a motion to approve the 25-26 CCTA budget.
I'll second. All in favor?
Just a point of clarification, it's the 26 budget, correct? FY 26.
Well, I said 25-26, but it's the 26 budget, yes.
Okay, so we'll make a
Just
motion
wanted to-
to approve the 2026 budget.
I'll second. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. That takes us to item 10, discussion and possible action regarding contract number 2425-004 with K. Denio Consults for the 3D Cultural Corridor Executive Director for a total not to exceed an amount of $120,000. David, I think there's some background on this that
Yeah.
I can add.
Thank you, Chair. Dave Peterson again for the record. This was quite the process. You know, we did do a couple of RFPs earlier this fiscal year. It did not yield a contract. We are lucky to have, and Krista is here. I know you may not be able to see her, Member Bott and Member Giomi, but she is here if there are any specific questions for her. But we're very excited that Krista is willing to tackle this project because it's something, you know, just to remind the board, this is not just a Visit Carson City endeavor. We may have been the organization to put the original concept and the grant application together and submit that to Travel Nevada and the Commission on Tourism, but this is a much bigger regional effort. It's covering Douglas County, with the exception of the lake. It covers Virginia City as well and Silver City. So we just happen to be the body through which the contracts and the money is flowing. And I'm very excited again that Krista is stepping in to take this on because at the conclusion of the first 2 years, which is October 8th, 2026, years 3 through 10 is no longer being funded, right, by the Travel Nevada or Commission on Tourism, but Division of Tourism. So a huge part of what Krista will be doing is to secure other funding, right, to move this project forward to get us from years 3 through 10. And she has great experience, comes to us running a nonprofit over in California. Yeah, if you want to come up, Krista, please say anything. You're welcome to. Otherwise, if there are questions, I'll let you guys ask. But yeah, this is in the grant. This is the exact amount that previously you all authorized as a part of our grant application as well. So with that, if there are questions for me or questions for Krista, I'll leave it up to the board.
Any questions from the board regarding the contract? I guess that's a no. If not, I move to approve contract number 2425-004 as discussed on the record.
I will second the approval.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That moves us on to item 11. non-action items. David, you want to take it over?
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate that. With that, we'll go ahead and take up 11A, Executive Director's Update. I just wanted to acknowledge Chris. She did an amazing job while I was out of pocket there, recovering from my little snafu earlier this year north of the border. So I really appreciate Chris stepping in and handling all the business on behalf of Visit Carson City and working with the team to get everything, keeping it on track. And I think it was an improvement probably from when I was there earlier this year. So thank you, Chris. V&T update, the trains are up and running. I did want to be on the record to say that we did have a slight issue on our first day, on the Mother's Day weekend. Getting out of the depot, we made it about 15 minutes from the depot, and we ran into some sort of a mechanical slash, I'm going to say track issue, basically spun the wheels on the 18 and brought another engine down. We still couldn't move the train. And I just want to be assuring this body, the board, as your representative on the V&T Railway Commission, as well as anybody who may be listening, we have refunded every single person who purchased a ticket for that Saturday, and we're hoping to figure out a discount for a future ride. And so I'll address this next Wednesday at the V&T Railway Commission's meeting, where I hope to get an answer as to exactly what happened. But all trains from that Sunday, Mother's Day, forward have made it up the hill without a problem. So I just don't know what it was. If it was the heat, grease on the track, some unique circumstances, just presented that problem for us on that first day out of the gate. So, well, so unfortunately, no, because of where the train, say, broke down or stopped, we were not able to do that. So they were there for some period of time before we could safely get the train back to the depot and offload everybody. But yeah, honestly, I think it was a fluke situation, to be quite honest. So it's only, on my time on the commission, we've only had one other situation, and it was the first inaugural Mark Twain train, right? It was our first run of the season where we were way up toward the top, the hill, and we spun the wheels as well. So it's really two times in my 5-6 years here on the commission. So anyway, but I assure you, we've refunded everybody, and we're trying to make amends for those folks for a future train. So next item, I just want to say Lydia did a super job with our Travel Nevada fiscal 26 rural grant application. We focused on 4 high-impact digital co-op programs with Expedia, Future Partners, Datafy, and TripScout for a total request of $67,000. And obviously, I hope to be able to bring you back, hey, this is what we, in fact, received at the meeting next month. So I have a Territory Advisory Committee meeting next Wednesday, and then the recommendations will go forward to the Commission on Tourism for their June meeting. It's going to be a rough one for these folks. There's $1.5 million, so $1,500,000. And I just confirmed with Abby that the total requests are $3,103,426 from 50 different grant applications. So over 50% of the requests will obviously not come to fruition. So they are feverishly working through that process right now. But I'm excited. That shows the need, right, from rural Nevada as far as marketing support. So we'll have more information at next month's meeting in terms of what we actually received out of our $67,000 request. And then you guys can't probably see Stacy and Damon, but Lydia is not here today. She's actually in France attending the 2025 Cannes International Film Festival on behalf of the Reno Tahoe Territory. And it's a part of our continued effort to position our region as a film-friendly destination. It was kind of a unique opportunity that came up. She happens to be on the board of Reno's Cordillera Film Festival, and a fellow board member suddenly could not attend. This all just happened, I want to say, literally in the last month or so. And the room was already paid for, and so there was no cost to that. And basically, it's a plane ticket and some food, and RTT was able to send a person to represent this whole region. at the biggest film industry event in the world, basically. So exciting opportunity. We had just enough in some savings in our public relations part of the territory's budget, which is what allowed the territory to cover that cost. And I would just add, we had the Casa Grande here recently, if you all recall, and that I think is highlighting the potential for film in the region. And this is, again, I think a great opportunity for Lydia to get some relationships established and pitch the area to producers, location scouts, and other film industry decision makers. And the goal, again, is to drive future film projects, boost economic impact, and really to increase Northern Nevada's visibility on a global level. And we have an opportunity, I'll talk more about this at the June meeting. I need to get something in front of the V&T Railway Commission, but we'll have another FAM this fall, similar to what happened through Cordillera last fall, but it'll have a direct impact, I hope, on the V&T Railway, but definitely this region again in Carson City. But I'll have more details on that next month, and I'll apprise the board accordingly. So my last appeal is to lodging properties. Anybody listening, Damon, Mike, next Wednesday, 5/28, the city will be doing a full-scale exercise up in Lakeview. So sort of a disaster fire situation, and then there'll be a TEP, a temporary evacuation point at the community fair. I'm hoping that we can get some hotels, motels, RV parks to participate, have a table, at the community center, because we really need to hone in and get the voucher program in place in Carson City. So in other words, if somebody's displaced from their home, they would come into this TEP and be able to receive a voucher, right, to stay at a hotel, a motel, or an RV park if they, were able to escape with their camper or whatever the case may be. Visit Carson City will be there. We're going to have a booth as well. Just I want to support the efforts here of the community, but I've sent a couple emails out to all of the properties, inviting them to attend. John Pockendall is in charge of the emergency operations here, and he's great, and he's the one helping to pull all of this together. But I would just encourage the hotels, motels, RV parks to reach out to John, have a booth, and really, I see this as a great opportunity to train your front desk staff, on what this process looks like. We've kind of mucked it up a little bit with the past couple of fires, to say the least. And I would like to, support the city and all the emergency operations folks to make sure that this part of a situation, a disaster, or whatever the case may be, is easy to navigate for these folks, who are obviously under a lot of stress as it is and just need a place to stay. So again, that is next Wednesday, and it will start, I know there's a setup for the tables is about 8:30 to 9, and the evacuation starts at 9 o'clock up in Lakeview, and then the evacuees will start to arrive for check-in between 9:30 and 10. So again, I think it's a great opportunity to partner with the city and obviously our surrounding areas. So just making that appeal to the hotels and motels and RV parks on that end of things. So that's all I have for this month, and I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
No?
Anything, Mike? No? Okay. Great. Okay, if there are no questions, I'm going to go ahead and move on to 11B at this time, which is our transient occupancy tax actual versus forecast. I would like to point out, I think Chris did a superb job with her March forecast. We forecasted a 15% increase over March of 2024. We came in at 14.81%. So hats off, Chris. I don't even need to be involved in the forecasting, which is great. So I did leave April, May, June at the 5% increases. So if you go all the way over to the far right, that'll put us at just under 29.8 million in total taxable lodging revenue, which is just under 10% over our budget from a year ago, and then at 6.42% ahead of fiscal 24. So very pleased with what's happening on the room tax level. And I'm happy. Oh, and we're getting some inventory back. Mike, the federal, I'm not sure Stu about courtyard, but I know we're getting rooms back from 2 of the 3 that we're pipping. But feel free to weigh in, Stu.
Yeah, the courtyard is just about finished.
Okay.
They expect to be finished, I think, mid-June, late June. something like
Perfect. So it'll be good timing for the summer. We'll get some additional rooms that have been offline with the enhancements that the properties have been going through. So excited about that as well. So happy to answer any questions on this particular report. Okay, yeah, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Chair. If there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and move on to 11C, Arts and Culture Update. Mr. Brooks, take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. Eric Brooks for the record. We have a brief outline today. We're going to talk about the Cinco de Mayo event that just happened, the exciting Levitt concert series that was announced, and some new swag for arts and culture. So the second year of Cinco de Mayo was rainy, but still very successful, over 600 attendees despite the weather. To give you an idea of the difference from last year it was a 3-day event with 2 main events on Friday and Saturday. And we had 800 people. This year we condensed it into a 1-day and still had 600 people with bad weather. So we're looking forward to next year adding some new partners and continue to grow this event with our Hispanic community. The music was from a young group out of Gardnerville called Grupo Paso Fino with Norteño music. We'll be looking into doing some mariachi next year. And then the exciting part, the battle for the best taco. Pancho's Tacos was best overall. Metal Kitchen was the most unique, and Church's was the people's choice. And last year, Miami Tacos was the big winner. So a little competition will be brewing between those two, hopefully, for next year. So the annual Levitt Amp concert series was announced. This is the 7th year that Brewery Arts has been able to do this. They get a $30,000 grant from Levitt that needs to be matched, and then continuing to fundraise so that these bands can all get paid. All these concerts are free and open to the public. They're going to open on the 21st of June with the McCharlies, which is a doo-wop surf rock group. Page and the Overtones, he put them as country. They're a little more rockabilly, in my opinion. They played the Loudest Folk at the Nevada Museum of Art not too long ago and knocked everyone's socks off, so Spike's bringing them back for the big stage. Greg Gilmore and the Fever Dreams on July 12th. They're out of Reno. They just put out their second album. July 19th, The Mexican Standoff. Matt Schofield will be coming end of July, and then we have some blues rock with Reckless Stranglers. Sin Cane is a world beat group that has 9 people in it. It's going to be super exciting to watch. Then we have Swagger, and Bon Bon Vivant is the New Orleans swing band to close things off with. And then the big stage will be staying out for another couple weeks so that the 3rd annual Murals and Music Festival can have a main stage act to close that out. Right. Then we have the new arts and culture swag there. This is something we've been talking about for over a year, is getting some specific arts and culture items that we can pass out at conferences. Stu's going to be bringing them to his big ones. We use them at the NACBRX, the Nevada Arts Council Basin to Range conference that was in Ely last week. This was one of the favorites of the entire weekend that people were able to get. So we used a few different murals, and we're planning on doing this every year, so they'll almost become like trading cards or playing cards. So we featured Greg Deal's Dot Soleil Lee on the Nevada State Museum, Jesse Mellinson at the Nevada State Bank with his Bighorn sheep, and then we have the Korean blessing from Dave Kim, who came in from Oakland, and my favorite one still, Mari Pavanelli from Brazil, that's at the Children's Museum. So those are our 4 images for fiscal 25, and I think you got a sample of them. So we're happy to have those, and thank Dave and Chris for their continued leadership as we advance with our arts and culture scene throughout the city and throughout the region.
Thanks, Eric. Any questions for Eric?
All right. Stacy, Damon, of course, next time we see you, you will get your sample coaster set as well. So don't be jealous. It's forthcoming. Okay. All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
I love it. I love it. Excellent. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Really glad to see the numbers for Cinco de Mayo, especially given the weather. That's exciting. I think the demand is certainly there, and we can continue to grow that event organically each year. So excited about that. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to 11D, events and sales update. Stu, take it away.
For the record, Stu Wexler, Visit Carson City, just be reviewing a couple of the events that just happened and some of them coming up here in the next couple months. So we did have the Jackpot Jamboree that we just finished. I want to thank Andrew. He hosted them up there for the Mega Fam Tour once they came in from the Vegas area. And they did go, it was a collaboration between obviously Reno Tahoe and the Vegas territories. And there was a total of 17 operators from around the U.S. and that participated. It was a week-long tour. They were exhausted. They had a lot going on between coming up from Las Vegas area and then spending the rest of the week here in our territory. Mary Bennett, who is incredible, was the step-on guide. And I did want to thank Chris. I was going to be on the shuttle with him. I was under the weather, and Chris stood in for me, and everybody loved her. She did a great job. So for Carson City, we took them to the Stewart Indian School. They spent time there in the museum, went in the gift shop. Normally, they would be able to walk around the campus, but they were on a time crunch, so they didn't have as much time there. But they did love that. I did have heard some good feedback from the school. And and Mary always does a great job in history. I believe from the moment you guys left the parking lot, she was on her historical tour, going through Washoe, I believe, and then going by the governor's mansion to give a quick historical description of the governor's mansion, and then on to the Stewart Indian School. And then from there, they went to the state prison, spent some time there, showcased a couple of the cells. If any of you, well, Andrew was just at the haunted house, but.
I was there on the FAM too.
You were
Yeah.
on the FAM
It was
too,
great.
yeah. So what'd you think of it? I mean, you did a quick tour
Well,
of
they
it.
did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
People at the state prison did a wonderful job showing it.
Yeah, I think
were
people-
fascinated.
I think on one of the benefits of having that in Carson City is there's not really a tour, a museum like that around where you have a background of a casino that was actually a prison for the inmates. And so I think that's very unique to our area. So they did from there, they went on to Virginia City and spent time there and then back up to Reno to close out their tour. We are doing follow-ups, some surveys, and I've been sending out follow-up emails. I've already gotten some responses back that some of the tour operators are actually looking, maybe in 26, 27 to bring some tours in to our area. So my goal is actually to bring them to Carson City and then maybe do the Day of Ventures to the other outlined areas.
Stu, can I just jump in?
Yeah.
I just want to acknowledge Vice Chair Reno and his property up in Sparks at the Nugget. They hosted these folks. They comped the entire stay for us to make this work within the Reno Tahoe Territories budget. So I just wanted to acknowledge Member Reno on the record and say thank you for doing that, because him doing that at the property level is going to allow us to be able to reimburse the DMOs for the expenses that they incurred in full, which is a huge win for us as smaller DMOs, because the timing of this, not all of us were able to actually build this into our budget a year ago, right? And so, we've been through savings to cover the costs, but Andrew and his team up in Sparks allowed us to be able to reimburse the smaller DMO members. So thank you for that.
Oh, it was great.
I also want to give credit to the RSCVA for, they've worked on this for, I believe, the last, 2 years, trying to put this FAM tour together to showcase our area. So They really did a great job in helping us and putting everything together to showcase what we have here. So
I'm going to take care of Mr. Jimenez, so we're going to split a 20-piece chicken nuggets on Wednesday. I'm even going to let him
You
get his
are a high
own barbecue
spender, yes.
sauce. Oh, yeah, yeah, no, that's for
Well,
heart.
really, the
Yeah.
whole thing was a collaborative effort
Was.
between the whole destination. Everybody did a huge part in it between Lake Tahoe, Carson, Virginia City, Reno, Douglas. It was the way everybody came together was outstanding.
I loved it, yeah.
You don't see that collaboration.
Agreed.
very
Well,
much,
Then
but
throw
the-
a whole nother territory in, right?
Yeah.
And multiple partners down there. I think it was really, really cool, you know.
And that
it's
was a big
lift.
benefit is a lot of people that don't come to Northern Nevada that do just Vegas got to experience our area. And I think we're definitely going to get some good business out of that. It was
right, and they plan to make this an annual event.
That's the goal.
That's the
Grant- It depends on the grants, right? But
right,
yeah,
right.
it's built in for a second year with additional funding and to include an international component.
Yes, this
as
year
well.
was all domestic.
Mm-hmm.
And next year, if they do get the budget, it's going to go international. So
Well, and I would just say, not at the expense of our partners down in the Las Vegas area. It seemed to be the feedback I received is folks are looking for alternatives to Las Vegas specifically, and they had not been to Northern Nevada. So just from that standpoint, we're on the radar, you know, with some of these.
Well, I
folks.
could say that about some of the shows that Andrew and I attend, that where Vegas obviously is the focus point of Nevada. We are starting to see more interest in smaller venues, you know, more of the outdoor activity, the Tahoe, the museums here in Carson City, Virginia City. So we are starting to see that interest come around, I think, for the northern region, which I think is great. So, any other questions or? Okay, this last weekend, we just had Stetna's Pay Dirt Race. This is our 4th year, I believe. So with that, they expected around 300 to 400 riders, and David and I met with Carlos. So we did have some interesting events with the activity that's been happening for the new year with the new administration and the fear of the economy. We have seen a little bit lower ridership of registration than what we've seen in the past. It's amazing what the fear does, even though there's no physical evidence of it at this time. And then also for that one day, the worst day, it was the one day they had the race was cold, windy, rainy. Day before was beautiful, day after was beautiful. But I can say that being there, watching everybody, it is an amazing event. People just love being there. The riders that register for this are amazing riders. I mean, they had ranges from juniors all the way to people in their 70s that actually rode this race. So I could say that even in their bigger races, in the bigger areas, like Truckee, where they're normally 1,100 to 1,200 riders, they had the same ridership that we did. So that's just showing the economy, the fears that people might be having. They expect it next year to bump up again, but normally Truckee would have 1,100 riders. They had about 370. So that just kind of shows you the tentative.
I think is, Carlos going to do a deep dive into this?
Yeah, yep. So within 90 days of the event, Carlos will come in front of the board and we'll do so he does his own survey work, just for the record. We don't run that through our system. He has his own process. He's a computer programmer, and he uses the same application for every one of his events. We talked to him. We met with him last week before the event, and he will do a report for us as well. And just to clarify, I think, Stu, you meant to say for our event, they're going to come in around 369 is what Erica
You're
said.
right.
For Truckee, they were closer to six something. I think they were like 670-ish.
That's what, well, Erica told me when I.
Oh, okay. Because that, yeah, he had given me a little bit of a different number, but we can figure out the Truckee thing. But for us, I think we're going to land at that 369 mark.
369 for
Yeah,
us, right?
Just to clarify. But yes, we will have a report from him this summer, and he'll come and do a
Yeah,
presentation.
it's just kind of contradictory. I get people are worried about the economy, but our lodging numbers
I
are
know,
as strong as they've ever been.
right? Yeah, no, I agree. We're sort of setting.
So
Well, that-
I know, could there be track and route?
I don't, yeah, when we spoke to Carlos on Wednesday night, it's not just his events, and it has nothing to do with the region where the event is taking place. Every one of their events for this entire year is down significantly in terms of the final counts for those events that have passed. Even his, I want to call it, what is it? Not Segafondo. Oh my gosh, it's their main one. Forgive me for not remembering that off the top of my
Yeah, I
head.
don't remember.
That was
remember
down
either.
significantly as well, and that is their premier event. I call it Sega Fondo, but I know that's not it. But something Fondo over in California, and he's been talking with his peers as well, and they're seeing the same thing. The context I can provide for the board, folks are limiting their registration for the number of events that they're going to participate in, and what they're looking to do is to go to those events that have a new piece, a new element, a new component, is something that's different than the prior year or the prior couple of years. And Carlos, in recognizing what's happening this year, approached me a week ago today, and we had a quick conversation about some changes that we think might make sense for next year to kind of spice up this event, right? Because I think it'll be the fifth and final on this particular.
Fourth, I think.
Or is it fourth? Okay, so on the destination sponsorship agreement that we have, and I think if his ideas play out and we can do this with the permitting and some different areas of trail, in the Carson City section in the Pine Nuts, I think we have an opportunity. I'd like to see us get to honestly
Possibly
600 people.
Possibly too, changing the date
Yeah,
due to the fact that we never know what the season's going to be like.
Right.
If we're going to have a heavy season, mild season like we did now, because they were explaining, with a heavy season with the snow, the trails tend to get very, very sandy, and that can hinder the race. So maybe what Carlos was talking about, David, maybe moving the date back or up a little bit, maybe into a warmer month as well.
Yep.
No, I just want to make sure we're looking at everything.
absolutely, Chair. Yeah, because we need to, we do need to somehow. I don't want to say course correct. I don't think anybody did anything wrong, but we do need to think outside the box. And if we can add a new element or new elements, if it's a different route that we're going to put these folks on, the one common positive comment, people absolutely love being on the east side, right? And then looking back at the Carson Range, the Sierra Nevada Mountains, that is a point of differentiation for these folks. And just the different terrain, right? Because it's very different than if you're just riding up in the Sierras, right, on single track, what they encounter with the dirt, the sand, and just the rockiness, on the eastern side of Carson City, and of course Douglas County shares some of this route as well. That's a selling point, and that comes up with Pete Stetna as well, and the folks that he brings in from around the world, right? They just really love the variation in the terrain. And just what you can see when you're out there, it gives you a different perspective than being in 100-foot pine trees, right, where you're somewhat limited. So I think we build on that, and with some of the ideas that Carlos briefly mentioned to me, like I said a week ago, I think we'll be able to kind of hopefully turn this around for 2026. So,
But I will say they had a bump in their, excuse me, their youth ridership. compared to last year. They partner with NICA, who does the youth race here in Carson City, so they partner with them. They also had a bump in the last minute registrations, what they thought, as compared to last year. So I think people were just waiting to the last minute to see what it was going to be like. But at the youth ridership had a bump, and they were happy to. Pete Stetner was really happy to see that. He wants to get the youth more involved in these races going forward. So, yep, no questions. I'll move on to next month. I have the IPW. I requested 50 appointments. I don't have the schedule out yet as to how many, when. That'll probably come out in the next week or two. We are going to be in the same area as Travel Nevada, which is always a big bump in people that come to see them. As we kind of work together, they'll bring appointments over to myself, even the Reno people as well, to try and all work together. Lydia is going to be coming for Media Day this year, which is, she hasn't come before, so that's just one day of just meeting with all the media, all the press. She'll be doing that, and then hopefully helping me a little bit on our booth. And this year it's in Chicago. And as always, what I'm starting to see, especially now, is obviously the history of Carson off-road trails. Anything outdoor activity is becoming really popular. And the spike in interest in the Nevada State Prison is really becoming pretty amazing. You don't see, especially international, they don't have anything like what we have here as far as that goes. So that will be mid-June 13th. Looking forward to that. And then some of the other tournaments we have that are coming up. We just had also the Wild West Shootout Soccer over the weekend as well. A lot of these same events are happening at the same time, so it's hard to see the follow-up until for a week or two after. So I'll be getting the information surveys back from that. We do have the California Youth Association coming up again, as well as the Battleborn Blades. They have about 80 people registered that would come to the tournament to compete in sword fighting. And then we have senior softball, which will be the end of this month. They're doing 2 tournaments this year as compared to previous years. And they're pretty excited about the fields going in because they look to bring even more, like next year, once everything is complete and finished with the new fields in Centennial, they want to bring in even more tournaments to our area. So I think that field's going to be a big bump for us in tournament play. And we have No Limits that'll be coming here. We also, another organization out of Texas that is looking to bring in more tournaments. They actually want to come have tournaments in August, September, but because of the installation, we had to hold back on that. And then the 775 Off-Road and Recovery this year will be at Fuji Park instead of Mills. And there will be it's a one-day event, and they have just different areas where they show how to service vehicles if you break down, medical issues, if anything happens like that. So that's usually pretty good. They get a lot of interest in that. And then the last one is Carson Cruisers. They moved their dates to June instead of July, more so for the heat factor, is what they told me this year. So that's always a fun show. Beautiful cars that'll be at Mills Park. And that's it. If there's no questions.
Any questions for Stu?
I will say real quick that I am working with the new installation. I've talked to a couple tournament organizations in the Northern California area that have heard about the installation of our fields and are anxious to get more information once everything's complete to bring those tournaments up to our area here. So the word has gotten around about the installation of the fields at Centennial throughout the Northern California area as well, so.
Okay, thank you, Stu. Excellent work. Lots of things forthcoming, as you can all see. With that, we'll move on to 11E, Marketing and PR Update. I'm going to be your Lydia for the afternoon. So we're going to talk marketing update, public relations, downtown banners, and the Etsy Awards. So with that, Chris, if you will go one more. Perfect. Okay, I don't want you to panic in terms of seeing some negatives on this particular slide. Just as a reminder, we ended the Winter Charm campaign in March, right? So we had a big spend. Again, the idea was to help bolster things during our shoulder season months, right? And then we did come back with our Nostalgia campaign. So starting in April, Nostalgia kind of started back up. One positive, though, I would say, is the lodging campaign optimization. It's working. So, we had fewer visits, but again, we're trying to work on getting at higher quality folks to drive those lodging referrals from our website to our lodging properties. And then just a friendly reminder, last year we had the Carson City to Canada Quest, right? So we had all that exposure about soliciting folks to apply, send their 1-minute videos and everything to us. So that did drive a lot of traffic as well. So that was a big piece of last year's numbers. So I won't, unless there's a question, I won't belabor all the individual statistics on that particular report. From a public relations standpoint, we had great coverage of the Quest in April in the Backpacker magazine, Nevada Appeal, KTVN, Sierra Rec magazine, as well as KOLO News Channel 8. Stewart Indian School was mentioned in the Modesto Bee and the Sacramento Bee. And we were also mentioned in a very nice write-up in Magster magazine about the Cowboy Corridor road trip. And lastly, the museum was mentioned in IFL Science. I do not know what those letters stand for, but some really good PR this past month. Lydia was all over the place as well, on the TV, the radio, you name it. She's been on it. So really good effort on the public relations front. This is a KOLO. They did an awesome job, very comprehensive story about the Carson City to Canada Quest that we thought you would enjoy seeing. I think should be short. If you just click the picture. Yep. That's weird.
America relies on clean, renewable energy. It powers everything, from families to small businesses, from farmers to factories. Clean energy fuels lives and livelihoods.
Two hikers are setting out on an incredible and long journey, taking out on the Carson City to Canada Quest.
Each of them earning $5,000 once it's completed. These two hikers are pioneering the newly minted Capital to Tahoe Trail. We have Koloy Tana Altenberg joining us live from Carson City this morning, where that trail starts. And you actually got the opportunity to chat with one of the hikers, Hannah.
That's right, Becca, Dave. I'm so excited to follow along on this journey that these two hikers are going to be taking here very shortly. You'll notice right now I'm actually standing in front of the Capitol building here in Carson City, where these two hikers will come and join and then go on this journey together. A 1,600-mile journey lies ahead as two hikers are gearing up to embark on the journey of a lifetime, starting right here in Carson City.
Our trails coordinator here for the city, Greg Berger, said, I can't believe it's possible that someone could hike from Carson City all the way to Canada or Mexico. That sparked an idea. I said, I want to see someone do it. And so the Carson City to Canada Quest was born.
28-year-old Julianne Mahoney is one of two hikers taking the first steps on the Carson City to Canada Quest, but she almost didn't even sign up.
So I originally wasn't going to apply because I didn't think I would ever be selected. Carson City was posting the call for hikers for like a couple weeks, and it just kept on popping up on like my Instagram feed, and I had a couple people like text me or tag me in it, and I was like, there's no way I would ever get this. And when I got the call that I had been selected, I literally cried. I was out hiking on the Colorado Trail by my house.
Visit Carson City did have specific qualities they were looking for.
A huge part of this quest is we wanted to be along for the ride. We wanted to choose storytellers that could really tell the story of their life on the trail for the 3 to 4 months they're going to be doing this quest.
With an impressive and already established social media presence, it's no surprise Julianne stood out from the rest.
Whatever happens, it's kind of hard to plan anything because you never know what's going to happen on trail. So you just kind of have to be open to it and ready to like write and capture and share when it feels like the right time.
Estimated to take roughly 2 to 3 months to complete, this exhibition represents more than just a hike and a trail.
We have two big things that happen here in Carson City. It's the history and the outdoors. We have world-class trails, over 100 miles of them, and this was just one great way to get the word out in a unique way that Carson City really is an outdoor destination and a gateway to Tahoe.
And lucky for us, these hikers are just as eager and excited for the journey that lies ahead.
I've always wanted to like hike the Tahoe Rim Trail, and to be able to be like walking around Lake Tahoe for a couple of days is going to be so incredible. And I'm just really excited to actually spend so much time in these environments.
From beautiful backcountry lakes to mountain peaks and forestry, 8 years in the making, this trail is ready for adventurers to break in. Two hikers will embark on this journey here from the Capitol building around late June, and they are expected to take anywhere between 2 to 4 months to complete this expedition. And you can make sure to follow along on their journeys by going to visitcarsoncity.com or going to Visit Carson City's Instagram. We'll also have all that information available on our website at colotv.com. Becca, Dave, it was so inspiring to talk to Julianne and just getting to learn a little bit more about her journey, what she's excited for, and what can we expect as she hits the trails. I cannot wait to watch both these hikers show everyone what this beautiful expedition is going to look like.
I'm kind of envious they're going to be away from society for like 3 months. Sounds delightful.
Doesn't surprise me. The pictures and video, impressive, but I'm sure even more spectacular in real life.
Very exciting to watch. All right, thanks.
The state does some things even my sixth graders want.
What I would add, Julianne has been fantastic. We are receiving such great feedback, comments from the interviews that she's been doing, because she was the first to go, right? She's technically started in Campo on the U.S.-Mexican border. She's doing the entire length of the Pacific Crest Trail, right? Mexico to Canada. So she's first out the gate. Then I'm going to say Audrey. Hopefully I got her name right. I'm so sorry. If I didn't, Audrey, I'm going to go with for right now. She will start I think in June is the timing, and the idea is if this works out well, depending on Julianne's pace, she will come into Carson City and we'll actually have both of them on the steps of the Capitol, and then they'll head out together to do the to Canada portion of this. And, you know, obviously then they'll be at their own pace and everything, but a lot has to go into that timing wise, you know, no issues on the trail to get here, but and Audrey's been awesome as well with the interviews that she's been kind enough to do. So really, really cool. And, you know, one of our 4 competing strategic priorities, if you all recall, is associating ourselves with Lake Tahoe, right? We have 6.2% of the lake in Carson City County. And just that has been a wonderful, getting that out there, right? The proximity that Carson City is to the Lake Tahoe area. If nothing else, that has been a theme, and I'm excited to see that come through. So that's the update there on the quest. Lydia will definitely have more at the June meeting for everyone. So Chris, if you will, yep. Okay, perfect. Downtown banners. So we got all the Safely stickers. My hats off to the Public Works team for getting all those Safely stickers off the existing banners. We also have some that were outdated, and we're going to have new banner designs as well. And so we'll replace the outdated ones, and then we're going to run all the way to Fifth Street on Curry. So that'll cover us in terms of everything that we'll have up on the light poles, and good Lord willing, we'll have the banners by the end of this month. And then that'll give Public Works, Rick and the whole team, the ability to get those up in June. So again, hats off to Public Works for their patience while we work through some design changes and some unique things about these banners with stitching and all this other stuff that I've been seeing a lot of emails on. So excited there to finally have everything in place with the full downtown renovations and having our banners up everywhere. So Chris, if you will, great. I'm really excited about this one as well. I'm not an award guy, per se, but the team, did a really good job, and KPS3. So happy to say that the winter campaign earned the best seasonal marketing campaign at the E-Tourism Summit. We were up against national and international, state and local DMOs. They're very coveted awards. So again, great job, Lydia and Zach and KPS3, and a big shout out, to the BAC as well for allowing us to have our movie nights over there at the BAC back in December. So I just wanted to let the board know. There's been some more hardware, I guess, as they say, handed out. And I think we have some things that have been submitted to the U.S. Travel Association for ESTO in August as well. I know we worked on it. Chris actually helped out while I was out on that with the lodging statistics and some other things as well. So I guess we'll see what happens over the course of the summer with the U.S. Travel Association and the ESTO Awards as well. So that's it on the marketing end of things, and I'm happy to answer any non-difficult questions if there are any. Otherwise, we will wait for Lydia to come back. All right, not hearing any. Future agenda items, 11F. Any requests from the board members at this time for next month? If you'd like to see anything on the agenda, now is your opportunity. All right, I'm not hearing anything. Stacy Demond, okay. With that, we'll move on to 11G, our next meeting right here in this building, back to the normal time, 4 p.m., June 9th. And with that, I'll turn it back over to the chair.
Thanks, David. That takes us to item 12, board comments or announcements or requests for information.
I just want to take a second and welcome you to the Cultural Corridor. Excited to have you.
Okay, board member Giammi.
Yes, I just wanted to mention that at our Board of Supervisors meeting the other day, the student body president and Superintendent Andrew AJ from the school district was on site, and Carson City is going to be hosting the Nevada State Student Council Conference in 2026. It'll be the first time they've hosted it in 20 years. The last time they did it was 2006. So that'll bring a number of high school students to the community, teachers, and so that is 2026. I'm sure AJ will reach out, but if not, David, you could, potentially reach out to him and see how we could help support that. But they anticipate pretty big impact. So that was good news to hear.
Chair, may I just
Yes.
jump in for a quick second? Stacy, I did hear some portion of that presentation in the morning last week, as he mentioned, or I don't know if it was, did you say AJ, or if it was the gentleman that's the student body president from the high school here, but 1,200 students, right, I think?
Yes.
Okay.
1,200 students, yes.
Okay.
It's a fair number. I think he said 1,200 to 1,500 students. So
that's a lot.
It's not a small number.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, I'll definitely reach out, because the only thing I didn't hear was when in 26 it will be.
I don't know that they have the exact dates, but Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we've got a little bit of time. I think it's the springtime of 26.
Okay, perfect. I will reach out on that. Yeah, just to make sure we can cover. It's a lot of people, a lot of rooms. Want to make sure we don't have that competing against soccer or one of the shooting tournaments, right? March, April, that time frame. So I'll definitely
Yeah.
get with them. So thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing nothing, we'll move on to item 13, public comment. Seeing no public comment, we'll move on to item 14. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second the motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.